What is going on, everybody? This is Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss channel. Thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, and the notification bell because we upload every single day. Today I have a special guest, Mr. David Roper. Mr. David is from Miami, from the state of Florida, down there in Miami, and he is a part of the Green Haven Project, a project that feeds the community down there in Florida. David, I'll give you the floor and just kind of tell us and the audience about what you all are doing with the Green Haven Project and how are you guys actually teaching and helping and help nurture the community down there in Florida.
Word, appreciate you having me on. What's going on, everybody? My name is David Michael. David Roper. You know, a lot of people call me David Michael, King Jedi.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, I am the president of Green Haven Project. And basically, it's a nonprofit organization where we teach young adults, the youth, and pretty much at this point, anybody that want to learn how to grow their own food. We also grow food with the community, and all the fresh produce that we grow, we give it back to the community for free. We don't charge anyone anything at any given day, based off of our scheduling. And when we are open, you know, pretty much anybody could come by and get fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. Everything that we do is pretty much organic. We don't use any pesticides, any herbicides, and anything that we plant. Everything is basically from the mud by hand. And yeah, man, that's pretty much it with that. And then we also do homeless plant-based feedings as well, with the same food that we grow, teaming up with, like, you know, catering businesses and stuff like that that want to donate their services and time to help out the community once a month. And yeah, man.
Yeah, David. So what you guys are doing is awesome, by the way. Just talk to me about how you got started. How did this organization come about, and how are you able to sustain and stay afloat when you grow all your food and you're not selling it, but you're giving it back to the community down there in Miami, Florida?
Yeah, so Green Haven Project started with a few of our founders, you know, and friends as well. And, you know, pretty much how I started originally was off of Google and YouTube. I was watching this mini documentary from the brother Prodigy, from Mobb Deep, rest in peace. And he was talking to a therapist pertaining to his diet due to the fact that he had sickle cell. And he was, you know, talking about how he had to change his dietary because of that. And then once he started doing research, he started talking about, you know, the genetically modified fruits and vegetables that Monsanto was pushing. For anyone that does not know, Monsanto is a company that has been banned in 30 different states, not states, but countries at this point. America is not one of them. They have a ton of lawsuits against them pertaining to not only their workers, but people that want to ban them in America due to the fact that a lot of the stuff that they produce isn't healthy at all on no level. There's a lot of herbicides and pesticides in their the chemicals that they spray onto the fruits and vegetables. And one herbicide, I believe, I can't remember the name of it because it's so long, but one herbicide and pesticide gives brain damage in children, you know, so it's crazy. So, you know, for the most part, I began to do my own personal research on everything that he was talking about. And as I continue to dive in more, I realized that this is a problem. And not only that this is a problem, but it's a problem within our community due to the fact that, you know, a lot of our Black and brown communities are considered food deserts. And for anyone that does not know, a food desert is basically an area that lacks nutritional food in it. So when we say things like, oh man, there's a liquor store on every corner in our neighborhood, there's a, fast food joint in our area, on every corner, there's, corner stores that are not owned by us on no
Mm-hmm.
level, in our area with processed food in it, that is considered a food desert. Meanwhile, the supermarket that would probably actually give you nutritional food isn't even in your area. You have to take your money and go out of your community to access these different spaces such as yellow markets and vegan restaurants and Whole Foods and
Mm-hmm.
so on and so forth. Um, so for a single mother that lives in the hood of America, one of the hoods in America, you know, she doesn't have any transportation. She has a few kids. You know, you're making it difficult for people um, to get access to those things because most of the time, especially after a 8 hour day, you're not trying to hop on the bus to go outside of your community. You're gonna go to what you know. You're gonna go to
Yeah.
that McDonald's around the corner. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? That for that dollar cheeseburger that can be, given to your child. Meanwhile, unfortunately, fruits and vegetables that are organic cost a little more. So you're not gonna even think about that because already we've been programmed to believe that a lot of the stuff that we consume that's organic and healthy is expensive.
Yes.
So for me, it was like instead of complaining about the problem, complaining about the issue, just begin to create solutions. So that's what we chose to do. And unfortunately, within our areas, I chose to give it back to free for free because we don't have a lot of those spaces. So what would I look like coming in the middle of the hood, you know what I'm saying, and being like, yo, I'm gonna charge everybody for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, nah, man, yeah, and it does take sacrifice, but then again, it is for our people. And sometimes that's what we need to do. We
Mm-hmm.
need to sacrifice and be humble and understand the problem and the issues authentically without any ulterior motives or hidden agendas, and just do the work. We are a nonprofit organization. So, when it comes to funding and stuff like that, that's what my grant writer is for. You know what I mean? And there's plenty of grants for that. And, we also do accept donations and so on and so forth. But for the most part, you know, if you have everything in order and you have everything in place and you manage the money properly, you can get a lot of stuff done,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what, my main mission is as well, to show that hey, this can be done within our own communities without any effort, as long as you know what you're doing, and you have that knowledge. And
That's awesome. That's awesome, David. Once again, I'm talking to David Michael of the Greenhaven Project. Be sure to the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Now, David, what you guys are doing is awesome because I live in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, and down in the west end of Louisville, where I grew up, where I'm from, it is a food desert, right? You have one store, right? One store for like a 20 block radius, right? And then, or maybe, maybe a 40 block radius. I don't know. It's for miles on end in the west of Louisville. But you got a Taco Bell on every corner. You got a McDonald's on every corner. You got a Dollar General or whatever. But I understand exactly what you're saying about those food deserts because there aren't many options. There's no Whole Foods in the hood. There's no vegan restaurants. There's no, alternative to the fast food lifestyle, to the processed food lifestyle, and things like that. And that, quite frankly, is killing our people, man. That's
I,
killing ours worse than you know what I'm saying, than the deadly virus. I'm not gonna say, but it's killing us way worse than that. How important has health and has being conscious about health? Is that something that's always been prevalent for you? Like, is that something? I know you said you learned about it from YouTube and Mob, Prodigy from Mob Deep, but is being healthy and eating right and providing like that, has that something that's always been to you, or is that something you learned over time?
no, no, not no, sir. You had to, it took a lot of, deprogramming, if that
Mm,
makes sense,
okay.
and reprogramming the mind to understand that there's a lot of things that have plagued our community for a long time. One of them has been our dietary, way back since, from slavery days, dealing with our ancestors when the slave master would just give them any and anything, to eat. And, you know, here in the South, one of the prominent things, such as chitlins,
Mm-hmm.
was a thing that, was fed to us, and at, when we first was kidnapped and bought over here.
Mm-hmm.
And now it's still a dish in 2021, and people
Mm.
still eat that and hold on to that slave mentality, syndrome. I like to call it the old slave master mentality,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just sad, man. It's sad. And, like I said, looking at statistics and everything that has been going on over the course of time, you know, African folks in this country, were in the negative with everything when it comes to statistics, right? High blood pressure,
Mm-hmm.
diabetes, cancer, obesity, you know what I'm saying? So on and so forth. The list goes on, and then we wonder why, these young brothers dying at 50 something years old. And
Mm.
when you come to
Man,
hear
yeah.
about it, it's about their health and their
Mm-hmm.
dietary and so on and so forth. So, I'm no saint. I'm still learning. I'm still educating myself, but I'm being cautious. At the same time, on a lot of the stuff that I do digest and what I eat, I make sure to
Mm-hmm.
keep a healthy balance with my dietary, and continue to move forward from there. And I really hope everybody, that's listening and that would watch this, if you haven't already, you begin to do the same, because these people ain't playing.
Mm-mm.
They have not been playing for a while. You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, since we got here, these folks ain't been playing. So, they try and take us out, and this is just one way how they've been able to do that,
Absolutely.
through our food. The water, well, that's a different story. You know what I'm saying? But definitely the food has been a detriment to our community. It's systematic racism. There is no secret. I mean, we all see it, whether we like it or not, whether we want to talk about it or not. There is a large gap within society when it comes to the segregation of not only our communities, but what's in our communities,
Yes.
and when it comes to the food, once again, this is a major issue, and then we wonder why, you know, our children grow up and have all these mental issues and so on and so forth or behavioral issues when they go into school. If, you know, they eating a bag of hot Cheetos in the morning time, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? Or when they're being fed, foolishness before they go to bed, or just throughout the day, because man, it's just man, it's so much.
It is.
It's
It
it's
is.
ridiculous, man.
Now, David, what I want to ask you once again, I'm talking to David Michael of the Green Haven Project down there in Miami, Florida. He has the project, the Green Haven Project has basically they grow food and they feed the community for free. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. Now, David, what since you all first of all, I want to ask you, when did the Green Haven Project start? When did you guys start growing the food? You talked about how you got started, but when did you start, and how have you seen, if any, differences within the community since you've been giving it nutrients and feeding it the proper food since you have been started down there with the Green Haven Project?
Where so I started uh teaching myself and getting the help of others by learning from them back in when was it, 2017.
Okay.
I started doing this at a youth center,
Mm-hmm.
mentoring the youth, and as I was learning, I was teaching them. So I got
Mm-hmm.
that opportunity to do that with one of my buddies and a mentor of mine, and from there, I had received a call a couple of years later in 2018, well, 2019, asking if I could come out and look at a 2 acre property and
Mm.
if I wanted to do anything on it. So, you know, when I saw it, I'm like, yeah, like I'm about that. Like, let me get that, you know?
Yeah.
And from there, I began to build a small team of folks that was consistent. And we decided, eventually to create a nonprofit organization out of it. And prior to us even growing anything there, we made sure that we tapped in with the locals there. Because originally I'm
Mm-hmm.
from Brooklyn, you know what I'm saying? I'm from Brooklyn, New
Okay.
York. So, I always believe that when you show up at a space, it's always out of respect to, holler at the people that are there. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Some people been living there all their life. What I look like just coming in, oh, I'm here now, like, what's up? You feel me? Like, nah, yo, I'm gonna check in with y'all. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Hey, what's up? This is what we want to do. This is what we plan on doing. You know what I'm saying? What y'all want to see growing here?
Mm-hmm.
This is y'all area. When I leave from here, they still gotta be there,
Mm-hmm.
So we asked, they gave us a list, and whatever was in season, that's what we began working on. And we've been doing this work, of course, prior to, the situation that took place last year.
Mm-hmm.
And how that affected our work wasn't really major. It was more of an eye opening for a lot of people. So it brought more attention to what we were doing within the
Mm.
neighborhood. People started asking us questions about some of the herbs that we are producing still. And people began to become more interested in what we were doing. Of course, we had more people showing up, coming to get stuff as far as, fruits and vegetables. We have containers where we store not only, canned goods, but, hygiene, clothing, sneakers,
Mm.
water, a little bit of everything. So we don't turn anyone away. And, we had all kind of people coming to us, from people that were houseless to people that were living in homes, but they didn't have anything, due to the fact of job loss, or, all of a sudden, their hours are getting cut short. So more people became more receptive to, what we were telling them and what we were teaching them. More of the youth began to come out, and wanted to be more interested in, doing the farming thing, and for me, I always believe that, if you want to reach the youth, you just got to make it look cool. You feel me? You
Oh yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You got to make it look like, hip. You feel me? Like, this is the cool thing to do. So they see me grilled up and, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
"Huh, what's happening?" You know what I mean? And it's just like, like what? You know, like
Yeah.
you doing
Yeah.
this? It's like, yeah, bro. Like this is it right here. You know. And then you break it down to them where it's like, yo, you could take this knowledge and go anywhere with it, and you'll be good. You know what I'm saying? You don't gotta rely on, this man. You know what I'm saying? To feed you. You know, you could feed yourself. You know what I'm saying? And not only yourself, but your friends, your family. You know, people that you love and care about, because that's where it's at, you know. And I tell folks all the time, yeah, a lot of people think, oh, revolution is, what I'm saying, guns up and, rushing something. It's like, nah, bro, like you're missing a few details,
Hmm.
because in the end, you could have 101 soldiers all day. Y'all could be armed to the teeth, but guess what? When that war over and that energy is drained and they hungry. Now what? Like who's doing what? Who's cooking? Who's hunting? You know? So it's we have to start thinking of as a whole the reality of the conditions that we are actively in. We have to
Mm.
start thinking about who we are as a people and what and how we are viewed, what I'm saying, and what our views are, internally and outwardly, because, there's a lot of things happening in the world. Meanwhile, you got people all across the nation doing a goddamn crate challenge, so I don't know, bro. I mean, it's just messed up. But you build with the ones that choose to build, and you build with the ones that see what's happening.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. You can't save everybody. I mean, that's the
right,
thing, and I get it. But the ones that are coming out and are being a part of the Green Haven Project, that are taking the advice that you're giving them, that letting that are listening to what you're saying when you talk about feeding yourself. I mean, at the end of the day, you can have all the money in the world, all the power in the world, but if you're not healthy, that means nothing, right? Like
right.
if you're not
Health is
healthy
wealth.
and you're not there to see it through, to be with your family, to be able to, you know what I mean, run a mile. Like you said, we see all of these famous people who are rich, who are famous, supposed to have all this money, dropping dead before their 55th birthday, dropping dead before their 60th birthday. And last I checked, being 60 years old is not very old, right? Like, I
Right.
don't think, men should be dying, black men should be passing away, dying before they turn 50, dying before they turn 60. I mean, that's insane, but we see it every single day. Once again, I'm talking to David Michael of the Green Haven Project down in Miami, Florida. They're feeding the community literally for free. Now, David, this thing is so cool. So with those 2 acres that you spoke about with the property, what are some of the things that you all are growing? Depend. I mean, does it depend on the season? And if I'm someone at home that may have some land or may have a few extra dollars, and I want to get started on growing something, how do I get into that? If I ask you that, what steps do I need to take to make that happen?
Yeah. So for the most part, if you want to begin to grow your own and you have the space to do it, I would suggest that wherever you are locally at, begin to tap into working on looking at things such as your climate.
Mm-hmm.
Knowing when um, like there'll be a chart to where you'll know when you'll be able to grow within the area that you're in.
Mm-hmm.
So like prime example, uh down here in Miami, most of the time we can grow stuff because of the climate.
Mm-hmm.
Now the only time that we don't really grow anything, but we choose to anyway, is during the summertime because it's so hot.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff may not survive, but we don't have the issue of like, winter or
Yeah.
like it getting cold during going into the fall or whatever whatever the case may be. We pretty much have decent weather year round. It's either it's hot or it's hotter, so,
Yeah.
so for the most part, I would say, just build off of that and then see what kind of fruits and vegetables you can grow within that climate because everywhere is different, you
Mm-hmm.
know. The same stuff that could grow down here might not be able to grow in Atlanta, and
Mm-hmm.
then vice versa, you know? So it's all really depending on where you're at, unless you go the route of maybe creating a hydroponic system, you know, as far as, you know, doing it indoors. But that may take a little bit more money because you have to create the atmosphere in
Mm-hmm.
order to grow whatever you're trying to grow. And then, of course, you would be using chemicals and pesticides. That's not my forte. So I can't really speak on it that much, but I do know the basic necessities to begin doing that. You know, it's going to cost you a little bit of money to do that. And if you do want to go the organic way, I would suggest that you don't do that. You just wait until you're able to grow whatever you could grow within your area. But down
Absolutely.
here, for the most part, we've like as of right now and what we've had in the past, we had watermelons, cucumbers, what basil, oregano, eggplant, okra, sorrel, what else? What else? What else? Bananas, pigeon peas,
Wow.
peppers, carrots, onions, sweet potatoes, Seminole squash, um, cherry tomatoes, collard greens, kale, dinosaur kale, African blueberry basil, callaloo, spinach.
Wow.
What else? Man, bananas. I don't know if I said banana, star fruit, passion fruit, Cersei,
You
um,
guys just do it all.
moringa.
You guys are
Yeah,
doing it all, man. You guys are
yeah.
doing it all. You guys are killing it down there at the Green Haven Project. You said something really interesting earlier. Once again, I'm talking to David Michael of the Green Haven Project. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. You said something earlier, and I find it very true. And you're not the first person I heard say this. Dr. Charles Cole, who comes on this program sometimes, he talked about if you want, the youth to be into something, you got to make it look cool. And it's crazy. It's ironic because Dr. Cole also wears a grill and he's a doctor, right? Like he's really into education. And he talks about, he's like, yo, I wear grills, I wear Jordans, you know what I mean? Like I do, like I dress like how you would dress. I just happen to have a doctor and I love education. I also love to read books, right? And I also love to do this. Yeah, you do all those same things. You just also happen to be, growing food and can actually like grow your own food and don't have to go to a supermarket, right? You don't have to go to your oppressor or whoever to feed you, right? What like why is that so important? Why is it that you find it that, hey, it makes it more relatable to the youth if you kind of almost look like them and let them know, like, hey, I come from the same person you come from, but I also happen to do this. Why is that so important, would you say?
Well, I say this first, because I am where they come from. That's
Mm,
first and foremost. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, people would see you and would automatically think, "Oh man, you're not in it." It's a stereotype.
mm-hmm,
So we're breaking that. It don't matter what you look like. You know what I'm saying? I've met people that was tatted up and never been to prison, never been been in the hood, but the minute you see them, you'll think, oh man. And then it's like, yo, this kid's a fucking, this kid's a nerd. You know what I'm saying? But then on the other hand, the one that is clean faced, sharp, and well, that man a mass murderer. You know what I mean? So, you know, um, nowadays, especially with the culture, everything is just in your face. They go off of sight, not what they hear. So if they think, a lot of times, especially with the kids, they're so impressionable sometimes, unfortunately, maybe that is one of the ways to get to them based off of what I learned, like, I mean, I'm still me, as you see. I rock stuff like this all the time,
mm-hmm,
different little sayings and stuff. I protest also with what I wear, you know what I'm saying, and how I wear it, you
mm-hmm.
know. So there's still that element of you being you, but when a lot of times when people see certain stuff, like, oh man, you wearing LeBrons and this, that, the other, but I'm wearing the LeBrons in the dirt. I'm out there. I'm not, working. I'm working in them. So I just feel that it's important to show them that, hey, somebody that look like you can, do whatever you can be yourself and do whatever you want without having to worry about any kind of judgment, you know? Um, and you can, being smart is cool. You still could have a
Absolutely.
grill. You still could, what I'm saying, have whatever you want, however you want to do it, and still, maintain yourself. You don't have to fit into, a stereotype of what this looks like or
Hmm.
what that looks like. No, if you want to look like that, that's cool, but make sure you do it with integrity and you do it with pride. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what you're representing to the world, and it's not, most of the time, it's not really what is, on your body anyway. It's what's going on up here,
Yeah.
you know? So,
Yeah. Well, I
yeah,
mean,
man.
that's awesome. Now, David, I do have to ask you, if somebody refers to you as a black farmer, would that be correct? Would you say that's correct? And what's it been like, to have that transition into being someone who is knowledgeable about a aspect of life that most black folks are. I mean, I can tell you straight up, I can't grow food, right? Like, and I know I'm not alone when I say this, but what's it been like to have that kind of knowledge, and what's it been like for you to have that kind of knowledge and be able to spread that knowledge throughout your community down there in Miami, Florida?
Um, First, I wouldn't consider myself as a farmer.
Mm-hmm.
I like to consider myself as a survivalist, and
Mm.
that is still learning, because that's one of the reasons why that I'm doing what I'm doing. Survival, you know. I like to keep track on everything that's going on in the world and current events and so on and so forth. And it's consistently getting worse. And there will come a time where, you know, like it or not, we're gonna really need certain qualities and traits to have in order to survive.
Mm-hmm.
Growing your own food, that's gonna be one of them. So even if I don't see it, I know my daughter that's on the way, she'll have that knowledge, and her brothers and sisters will also have that knowledge, and everyone around me, that is learning from me will also have that knowledge if they want it, and if it happens in my lifetime, I know that I will be okay to get off the grid and be in the woods somewhere in a cabin, hanging out, chilling,
Yeah.
because um, I feel there's not really a lot of black farmers. I think the percentage of black farmers is 1.3%,
Wow.
and one of the major things in order to do what I'm doing and what other people are doing across the world, you got to have land. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, in America, if you don't got the money for land, you don't have anything. You know what I'm saying? Land is the name of the game when doing this stuff. So, you
Mm-hmm.
know, there will be ceilings. I've been already going through that, because we don't own that land. We're just leasing. And with colonization, colonizing within our communities, I don't like to call it gentrification because, gentrification is just beautifying a group of people occupying a space and beautifying it. We're not taking anything away from that neighborhood. We're adding to it. We're adding more
Mm.
life to it.
Okay.
Colonizing a spot is basically, taking the people
Yeah.
that live there,
You just
kicking
deboing
them
somebody for
out,
their stuff. Yeah.
and it's like, oh, this us now.
Yeah.
We live here now. So that's what we see all the time. Colonialism,
Yeah.
and I think we really need to, when we're talking about that particular aspect of it, like we have to put it in the right context, because when we say gentrification, people might not understand what we're talking about if they understand both of those words, the meaning
Mm-hmm.
of those words, So, but yeah, man, I feel that at this point, for me, um, I just look at it as like, yeah, man, I'm just doing it, to survive. and I want my people to survive. You know, I still have a lot of work to do in order to call myself a farmer, a black farmer. You know, and I guess that goes with saying with anything really. You know, when you continue to read up on something more, you realize that you don't really know anything because
Hmm.
man, there's so much to learn. It's
Absolutely.
ridiculous. And for me, I'm doing it in a time frame where it's in real time. It's like hands on.
Hmm.
Like there'd be times when I don't really know something and I don't really choose a particular person to listen to. If I have an issue, I just type it in my phone and bam, there it is. Now I'm doing it hands on,
Yeah.
in the hot sun. You know what I'm saying? So it's like it's a that even in itself, just being out there in that sun all day, man, it's yeah, that's a mission, boy. Like, it's crazy, and some people can't handle it. We haven't got like thank God we haven't had folks pass out, or get heat stroke or whatever. But you know, I understand a lot of people can't handle that sun, and it took me a while to build the endurance to be out there to teach myself, on my own how to farm. And like I said, I still got a long way to go. So for me, until I master it, you know what I'm saying, then I'll be like, yeah, I'm a black farmer. For now, it's like, nah, survivalist. I'm just
Yeah.
doing this so I could learn how to, learn the trade. So I'll be on point if God forbid anything happens.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once again, we're talking to David Michael of the Green Haven Project. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe. We're talking about growing your own food, feeding your family, feeding your community, and survival at the end of the day, because that's the biggest thing. It's hard to at the end of the day you're at war, right? And one of the keys to war and to surviving is to be able to feed yourself and to be able to provide and not just feed yourself and allowing your oppressor to feed you, but to feed yourself with nutrition and things that'll keep you healthy, foods that'll actually keep you healthy. Now, David, I'm going to get you out on this because I've held you for a long time, buddy, but I appreciate everything that you've talked about. Just if you have, any final words that you'd say to the audience and say to anyone listening about whether it's growing your own food, survival, or anything that you all have going on with the Green Haven Project, the floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, I just want to say to everybody out there, man, especially our melanated people, I would just say, listen, just if you can, learn to grow your own food, learn how to shoot a gun properly, you know, um, research, figure out who you are as a person, figure out your ancestral background, all those things mean a big difference, especially in the times that we are living in. If you are in Miami and you want to hit us up, feel free to hit us up on IG, Greenhaven dot dot Haven dot project. We also have a website www.greenhavenproject.org. You know, everything is there pretty much. And if you want to come out and learn something, we'll be there chilling, waiting. You know what I mean? So yeah,
Absolutely.
man, brother, I
Absolutely.
appreciate you, man. Uh, putting me on your platform and allowing me to have my voice be heard. You know what I'm saying? Respect to what you do, bro.
Yes, sir. I appreciate it. And there's the website, www.greenhavenproject.org. You can go in there, check out everything that David and the team down there in Miami, Florida is doing. And for those of you that can, you can join us at the All Black National Convention. It takes place October 29th through November 1st in Orlando, Florida at the Omni Hotel. We'll be talking about things like what David spoke about today, growing your own food, new black media, everything, all things and everything black owned and black in our community. So thank you, David, once again. We love what you're doing, sir. Trust me, I am going to be tapped in with you because I'm trying to get on that healthy kick too, man. I understand that, like I said, it's survival out here, man. It's not just about looking cool or doing this kind of stuff. It's really about the beneficial of our families, about the black families, and the more knowledge that we can get, the better we're all going to be for sure. And so thank you all for joining us tonight, and we will see you next time. Peace.